Do you have steel-toed boots on?
I do not. No hard hat. No fear, no anxiety, no worries.
Last series of videos here showed a huge car junkyard auction. Vehicles, parts were sold at auction. Second video in that series showed loading the vehicles. And now I will show with this video the parts that I pulled and loaded, took them home. Scrap guys bought a big volume of stuff out here, and so I was out every day for the 2 weeks that they had to load, except for a couple days I took off to kind of groom the yard and get things arranged on my end. This place was almost 3 hours away from me. There was a huge volume of stuff out there, so there were a lot of decisions and choices to make about what to take home and what to leave, but I felt pretty confident about what we were able to do. Crazy thing was, this was a 2-day sale, so there were loads of parts sold on the second day. And I kind of took a look through. Joe was in that ring, and so he bid on a few things. And overall, I just really felt like there was more for me in the stuff out back that had sold the first day. And a lot of that stuff was getting loaded for scrap already on the second day of the auction. So I made the choice to work back there while the second day of the auction was going on.
What are we doing, Tim?
We are making nose art out of junk. Repurposing, redeeming. My OSHA approved striking tool.
With your OSHA approved safety glasses and hearing aids.
Hearing protection, gloves, the whole bit.
Do you have steel-toed boots on?
I do not. No hard hat. No fear, no anxiety, no worries.
"90-year-old metal getting cut up." At least it'll be reused somewhere. The rest of this gets crushed. We'll just move over here. Nothing like blowing sparks and slag toward your oxygen and acetylene bottle. Little trick there. You blow your flame out, quickly turn off the oxygen, put the torch back up to the glowing embers, and your acetylene will just light right back up. Old timers know that already. Something for you young punks. Victorious with the Victor wrench.
Victor wrench.
Be great if a guy could take these home complete, but given the scope of this place, it's just not a reality to be able to do that. So cut off several of these noses for wall art. Otherwise they would have just gone to the scrapyard whole. Place is really getting emptied out. This is the whole south side, pretty well clean. Southwest corner still pretty full. They're working fast out here.
Hold on. Cut that other side, yeah, and let it drop. Yep.
More getting loaded on the trailer for scrap. Once they're loaded up and off to the iron yard, party's over, no more chance for parts. So I gotta scramble out here to stay ahead of the scrap guys. More stuff being loaded up for scrap. Once it's heaped up and put in the dumpster, I lose my hope, it's gone forever. So I gotta be quick out here. Studebaker's going away for scrap. I did manage to pull the trunk lid off that car. A friend of mine told me those are pretty valuable. Every day I went out there, I'd put a car on the trailer, pick through the piles, and fill up the truck. Got tons of grill shells. A lot of these I just picked out of the piles. Headlight bars. There's a surprising amount of pre-war Buick stuff from the 20s out there. These two grill shells. There was running board plates and old Chevy script valve covers, even some 67 Impala parts. So for being called the Model T place, that was really just the tip of the iceberg of what they had. 47 to 53 Chevy parts, more T stuff. These old rings, I have the idea of building signs with them for the outer ring. For now, I just kind of put them in a pile because they're a hobby thing. 61 Chevy was a 3-speed manual car, so I got the column and the clutch pedals for that. Somebody out there is wanting those. Probably have a sloppy column that needs replaced, or just wanting to convert an automatic car over to a stick shift. Just bunch of odd and unusual 100-year-old parts kick around out there. Really once in a lifetime kind of place. I just kind of dumped it all here at my yard, and as I get time, I'll be sorting through it, going through it, kind of identifying some of this stuff probably used for other projects, or sell on eBay or whatever. Just kind of sort through, pick through. I tried to take a lot of time to search around in the little piles, big piles of parts out there. They pretty much sold those for junk. The auctioneer wanted $30 a choice to pick out of there, and so most people didn't pick. They just kind of let the junk man buy them. The parts that I picked here that I'll show are just really the tip of the iceberg. I got a whole bunch of headlight parts and headlight buckets, rims, bulbs. Then as I was picking through the piles, there was just a lot of little stuff that got tossed in there, like these original wrenches. This is a cool old set of pedals marked brake and clutch. These are 100 years old, and they were just tossed in the bottom of one of those piles. You can see they were marked 75 bucks for the pair at one time and just tossed away as junk. So that's how people bought the stuff. Just not a huge amount of pride of presentation in the way the parts were laid out for the sale. Old Plymouth hubcap with the Mayflower. I believe that's a 1940. And these old radiator caps and hub covers. This cute little accelerator pedal I thought was super neat. Not really useful for much, but just really cool relic to put up on the wall and look at. Pulled these scripts off of the 58 Bel Air. These always sell really good, about $100 a piece for them. Just those two little pieces of trim probably sell for more than what the junk guy paid for the car. Just takes the self-discipline to go out there and look at that stuff and find the good bits. I did save the cowl tags, trim tags off of the Chevys. Just kind of like to look at these and decode them in spare time. A friend of mine told me one time out at a junkyard, he's like, man, these are like the tombstones of the car. And so that kind of resonated with me, and I thought, you know, it'd be kind of neat to just save these as a relic and a reminder of the tombstone of these cars. When the car's gone, it's just kind of a way that a little piece of it lives on. Maybe that's kind of cheesy, kind of sappy, but this 65 was off of the Chevelle Malibu SS two-door hardtop body, so that one might be worth $100-150 on eBay. It's a felony to take a VIN plate off of a car and put it on another car, so I don't do that. But these old trim tags, they're just kind of something to collect. They don't show the serial number of the car or anything like that. It just shows body, paint, option information, and that's it. Out on top of the bumper pile, I did find this nifty wood and aluminum roof rack for a vintage car. Brought that home, as well as the vintage pair of black and white bucket seats. These will be great additions to the Morris Minor Woody station wagon that I bought, shown in a previous farm auction video. Getting the bumper pile moved was quite the endeavor. There were an awful lot of them there to sort through. Some of them were not real great, so I traded them to the scrap guys for other stuff. And then just kind of sorted, picked. Every load, I'd throw another stack on the trailer and keep taking them out of there. pretty sure there's right around 200 of them by estimated count. What I'll probably do with these is just sort them into piles, have like an early 30s pile, and then maybe a late 30s, early 40s pile, and maybe more than that. 2-3 piles anyway, and then just go through them on the picture books. I have tons of picture books. I've got individual marks like Hudson, Ford, the Buick book, Chrysler book, and then I've got individual books of the decades. Show you guys a little over those. When I very first started doing the parts business, I spent several $100s in books, and that was pretty justified expense, because even if one of those books nets you identification of a couple items, it's already paid for itself. Plus, they're just kind of fun to look through during the winter on the off months. Some of these are easier to identify than others. Got the 40s Lincoln with the L on it there. Some of these just being from vehicles that I've had in the past, I can kind of look at them and remember what they are. This old Pontiac with the Indian head's kind of cool. I had a pair of those 30s Pontiac that I took out of a salvage that closed down by Tulsa, and I think they were maybe $250, $300 on eBay. So kind of do the math. Be pretty quick to get this pile making money, which in the parts business is kind of a idea and a goal. I did cut off several noses from the 20s cars. They were just super rough, and given the space that I had on the trailer each trip and the amount of time just to try and stay ahead of the scrap guys, that was kind of justified thing to do. Not really the best, but save at least some part of these cars. I did save a lot of 1947 to 53 Chevy truck parts. I've got a bunch of beds, doors, and cabs, and clips, enough to build about 5 or 6 trucks, which is a goal that I have for this winter, to get into the shop and build some custom frames for those. I did save a set of 17.5 Ford truck wheels off of the sold power unit. These 17.5s and the 19.5s are kind of desirable. Took a lot of work to cut the old hard tires off. Had to use the grinder and the Sawzall, but finally got the rims freed. Rolling out of here. It's dark. Place is just nearly emptied out. My last load out of here. Scrap guys probably be done tomorrow, right at the 2-week mark. All that stuff. All the vehicles, all the parts, all the history dispersed. Some to the collectors, some to the scrap yards. A lot to the scrap yards. It's a circle of life. Seen a lot of these places fold and go away, and been on a lot of them that I've heard about. Probably a lot of them that I haven't. Just one more gone.